show. But most importantly, I did not think I was gonna make the cut. So they were having a runway show in Houston at my school, and you know, I met a couple people, and they were saying, "Hey, are you a model? Have you ever done this, done that?" And I said, "Nah," but I had some nice images, and just I guess just how it looked, right? They were saying, you should check it out. You should go to the casting. So I show up to the casting. I have no idea what I'm, no idea. So like, I see the girls, they're walking and they're doing their runway walks, their catwalks, and there's probably like a hundred girls there, right? And probably like 10 dudes.
Yeah, it was a crazy
So I see the
ratio.
girls walking, but I'm like, nah, right? So I'm asking the guy, yo, how do you walk? How do you pose? Right? Like how do you do? They could tell I was new, but my thing was I wasn't even worried about like even trying to like get it switched up, get it. I wasn't tripping. I genuinely wanted some help. And they were saying, do it like this, be confident, da, da, da. And the beginning simple poses of like having your hand, your thumb in your pants and stuff like that. And the whole pockets thing and stuff like that, like little, basic stuff. Let me not get into posing, right? But some stuff like that. Man, it was my turn. I walked, went down there, and this is if this isn't character free, I don't know what it is. Because I genuinely did not know what I was doing to the point that when I got to the end of the runway, I sat, there's like the castings, like there's a whole table of people. And I was really like, I just started laughing. I just couldn't help the fact that I had no idea what I was doing. And
True
like, I just
story.
honestly couldn't even hide it. And I was telling them, I was just like, oh, like, I was like, I have no idea like what's going on. I have no idea what I'm doing. Right. So that, that passed. They picked a few people that they knew they wanted off rip, which it was not me. So a couple of us we had to go again. I did it. I did a little bit of that time. Walked out. It was over this and that. I took a picture, which I'll definitely show on here. My first picture with my number. I
Yep.
was 19, 20-ish, super young. I'm still young, but that's fresh out of high school. Young is different than being out of school for some years. So um, I remember at that time, I had a girlfriend too, and
Shout out
she
to
was
her.
asking me how it went, and I was telling her I have no idea. I was like, there is no way that they picked me. There's no way. Like I was just, I don't know, right? And that same day, I got a call back and they said that I was selected, and I had no idea how. So I think it's just one of those things.
I'm trying to find a salad,
I
bro.
underestimated myself to an extent, but hey, we made it right. So that was my first runway show. I'll definitely add some of those pictures in here too. It was Prep Curry. I
Prep
had this
Curry.
pink custom hoodie on. The inside was a little different. I had these shorts and I had this fire ass, fly ass bag that he made too. It was probably leather material, really high quality material. And when you open it up, there's like a floral pattern in it. Beautiful artwork again. Shout out to Prep Curry. And damn, like I got up there, I did it. Super nervous, but I did my thing, especially, for that being my first show and, to be at that level. I did my thing. It was a very cool experience. I remember the a few of my friends, they went to it. They were right there in the crowd, and they were like trying to make me laugh while I was on stage on the platform. They were cheering me and stuff like that. You got to keep a straight face, right? I just kept a straight face, kept walking. I remember in the video, I'll probably add that too. The video, they're like, "Oh, he gonna act like he don't see us." You just like, come on, man.
Okay, look at my nigga. Yeah. Messenger bag in the stick. That's crazy.
That's my nigga Trey, bro. I'm actually texting them right now in the chat. The people, it's ironically the people that are commenting in this clip right here are actually texting them right now, bro. They're real as hell for real.
But super cool experience. And then throughout that time, throughout that year, I was working, with some local photographers, was working with different people. just getting different experience, building up the portfolio. I did a couple of other shows that between that year or two, in a couple different cities. Another one was in Houston, one was somewhere else. Um, just just getting out there, putting my foot into it. I already had the look, I already had the energy, I already had the vibe, the aesthetic. It was just the fact of building up the portfolio and just getting myself out there. Met a lot of people, met a lot of cool people, met a lot of successful people, met a lot of wealthy people, a lot of stuff like that. Let me think. What happened? Kind of. So that's kind of like how the first year or two went. Was doing stuff like that. I went back and forth. I worked with a couple different like beauty brands, a couple different shoots, a couple different fashion brands, stuff like just little things to keep you busy. Uh, Little things keep me busy. And I guess that was pretty much that. I think 2021 was when I did my probably the biggest show I did. 2021 I think was when I landed an LA Fashion Week gig, which damn, I think it was 2021. I'm pretty sure it was 2021. Yeah, something like that. 2021 because I actually was up north working this summer performance gig with like actors and dancers, performers, and things like that.
which
I had
was
this
so
summer gig. I
ass.
really didn't like it, and I was really stressed up there. I was breaking out a lot, and my group in particular, our group of performers, we were kind of being neglected by some of the people at the venue, and it wasn't the best experience. Some of them liked us, but some of them they didn't like us because we were doing their job better than they were, and we were bringing in more people to the venue and to the park. But I had applied to a couple LA gigs, a couple LA Fashion Week shows. I kid you not, I really wanted to get into it. And one day I was on the job and I got a message, I got an email, you were selected. And I just couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe it. And I looked at it. I was super hyped all throughout the day, and I think after the job or after that day or at some point, I looked into it. I filled something else out, and I don't know if it was that day or a couple days later. I was at this girl's house, and I got a call, and it was from somebody up there. So I stepped out, and yeah, that's when shit got real. They were like, "Yeah, you were selected. This is your day, this is your showing." There's a couple designers that wanted to work with me. They wanted me to record a video, a couple, send a couple raw shots. And I was just so excited. I was so damn excited. I was telling her she was excited for me. She was super happy for me and things like that. Too bad I was stuck up north. I need to get back home and really start prepping for it. But yeah, I remember I went outside, I recorded a video. I was so excited, Atlanta Fashion Week and all this stuff was just it was super cool, man. Super cool. A lot of dopamine. And at that time, that was before I feel like I was really a full timer, and I had so much more love and appreciation at that time compared to now. And everybody was so happy for me, and it was just a very exciting feeling, to get to that point and to know that that was a very vital stepping stone towards the next direction. And just in general, that was the first time I went to LA. The first time I ever went to LA was because I was getting on in a New York fashion, I mean, in a LA
Facts.
Fashion Week event. So it doesn't really get any better than that. And I did a couple more, you know, I did a few more shoots after that because now, the demand for me was a little higher because I had that experience, I had those shots, I had those videos. So I came back, worked with a few more photographers. I think I went ahead in December. I did another show in Dallas. That was the first show I did in Dallas. I really did it because I wanted to do a show in my city, and I did it. That one was the models were great, but uh overall production and the staff was a little. It was a little iffy. We're not gonna get too into that. It was super fun, regardless of the outcome. And I think after that, I kind of I think I was chilling, the rest of that December ish. January through April. April was at 2022. It was a new season. I worked with a celebrity photographer earlier that year, got some crazy shots, even still to this day are classics. And I worked with a couple other photographers. A couple of those photographers I don't even associate with anymore because they have their own things that they gotta, figure out. But let alone, we still created insane pieces of art. And uh, I think that year was also the year I decided that I should probably slow down a little bit because I was in school and I started noticing it affecting school as much as I hate to say it. So, freshman year, my grades were super good. I think I had a 3.7, 3.8 GPA freshman year. And then COVID hit, things went downhill from there. And then, coming back to campus, my grades were iffy. And then the year after that, which was last year, I was kind of going downhill, but we'll get to 2023 after. So 2022, I was going through some things. I think through the winter semester of 2021 and then over to 2022, I decided it might not be. I decided it might not be the best time to be trying to, because I was modeling full time. I was already modeling full time at that time. I didn't have to worry about money. I didn't have to worry about
Yep.
anything, and I was getting checks from a few. I think I was getting like I had a lot of aid too, so I was paying off school and I still had some over, so I was just keeping that and maintaining, really just surviving, college. And I did, I was able to get whatever I needed. I had a little side job too, so nothing. Not I wasn't really worried about anything. The only problems that I was having was the fact that I'm in school full time and I'm pursuing something outside of school full time. So doing so many things at one time while you're in school, stuff can get kind of crazy. I got into some trouble with a couple teachers, or I got into some trouble with a couple professors, and because I look, I would tell them ahead of time, hey, um, these couple days, this weekend, this week, I'll be out of state, or I have to do this and things like that. I would tell them ahead of time.
Yeah, so this was one of the things that really, really caused a lot of struggles for me in school, and I'm actually gonna talk more about this one day too, kind of like why I took a break slash dropped out. I know I don't like that word, but it's a lot easier to say that and talk about it now that it's been like a couple years since. So I want to talk more about that when I get the time to. But yeah, it was really hard doing this stuff full time while being a full time student and having like actual job too. And then even whenever I didn't have that job and I was just doing this full time, either way it's crazy. But I remember I had a job, I was doing this full time, and I was a full time student. And some of my professors just could not cut me any slack. So sometimes I can't give a notice as in advance as I want to. But even even though I did most of the time, like at least a couple weeks if I could, I remember I had a show and I was like, yeah, like in a couple weeks, I'm gonna go. I have to be here, and what I mean, do this. I'm gonna be in state. It was cool at first, but after a while of doing it, a couple of them they kind of got to a point where like they didn't really care. So that's kind of like a major issue that I think a lot of colleges and professors should chill out on and consider more. The fact that not every college student is living the same basic life of just going to class and then just clocking in, or some students all they have to do is go to class because everything's covered. Not everybody that is in college has that lifestyle. Some of us have a lot of other things we're doing outside of it, especially like this. The the stuff that I've achieved and the point that I've gotten to is because of my hard work and my network. It's not because of a degree. I didn't get my degree, and I'm still doing more stuff than anybody that I know that went to school in this area. So it's about who you know and about the work that you have. You know what I mean? So the creative field is different than being a lawyer or something like that. But back to like kind of what I was saying regarding the school and the model stuff. Sometimes I'm out of state. I'm out of town. and they weren't, considerate of that. And obviously most people have the same life, the same schedule, but I think that a lot more professors should respect, people like this that have all this other stuff going on, especially if they can prove it. So, you know,
as much as I could, because I knew that my life, my schedule was just so different from what they're used to, let alone the other students. Most students, they just go to school and they just have a job. They're not really pursuing something between both of those. I was doing everything at one time. It was not easy, but when you're ambitious, you can't help it. When you have work ethic, you can't help it. But I got into some trouble with a couple of the professors because at a certain point, they're like, okay, I can't excuse you anymore. I can't um reschedule this, and they just didn't understand. They honestly just didn't understand that not every student has the same life. Some of us have a very different and particular life, and I wish that more professors were open-minded, but they don't really give a fuck because they're paid and whatever happens happens. The only professor that actually understood and was cool with it, of course, was one of my mass comm professors. He um he was the radio, television, film professor. He understood it, and he didn't mind it. Actually, both of them didn't mind it. I'll tell them ahead of time, let them know the dates, and tell them what it was for, and they understood it. And I was able to do my work a little earlier or do it like at a different time. Just things like that. They were really working with me. They understood it. So I told myself in 2022 I was going to slow down and chill a little bit because it was interfering with school. I ended up failing a couple of classes just because a couple of the professors just really didn't want to take my side anymore. Got into a couple of issues with a couple of them too. One of them in particular, she was super rude, super old school, very just very very criticizing older woman, and she just didn't really give a fuck. So they ended up catching up to me. I even had issues in one of the classes. It was a lab, and I had missed so much of it. I was failing pretty badly, and I tried to talk to her. And I even told her, if I come to every single class for these last couple months and I turn in everything, can you be real with me? Let me know if there's a chance that I can come back past this class. She was like, she's so old school. She's like, I mean, I can't tell you that. I can't really, stuff like that. I can't, whatever. So whatever. I just did it. I tried, and I still felt it. So there's that. Just a lot of issues. So that's why in 2022 I was saying I took a break from like the modeling a little bit. I was doing some shoots here and there. 2022 was a very developmental era, and it's crazy because 2022 was the middle year in between these last couple years and the first couple years of being a model. That year, man, oh my god, I learned so much that year. I cut off so many people that year. 2022, man, I got into a couple controversial issues. Uh, I got some brand deals. I cut off hundreds. I'm not even exaggerating. Hundreds of people. I blocked a lot of people. It was that time where I was really going through some developmental changes, and I really locked in on myself. And once you really start to do that, you gotta. I just knew too many people. I was too distracted. I was talking to a lot of women at the time, and I just couldn't do it. I was super overstimulated. I cut off a bunch of different women, blocked a bunch of different women, and just moved in a completely
you gotta
different
do what you gotta
direction. I
do.
really isolated myself. I dealt with a few negative experiences with a few different people that I was working with at the time too. You know,
Yeah.
the list goes on, but there was a couple of photographers, there's a couple of models, a couple of just other creatives that that year I guess they had decided that they just wanted to misinterpret what I was doing and spread negativity on my brand, and so I had to disassociate with those people as well. But like I said, it was very experimental, very interesting era at that time, and um, that's also the same year that I think 2022 is also the same year I started seeing my actual support go down because I went from doing only portfolio work, only high fashion work, and only doing stuff really for to please, my audience and to please people that I was working with, and to please, I guess, just in general, just kind of going by the book. You know, that was the last year that I did everything by the book, and as a result of that, I started seeing a lot of less support. You know, when you really lock in, you start. I feel like taking things serious, and you disassociate with certain people, or even not. You know, so ever since 2022, I've had far less support. I think that like even my page has grown less. I barely get any likes now and things like
Yeah,
that.
true
So
that.
2022 was definitely the time and the era when things started shifting. But it was also the quarter between doing things by the book to growing so much and basically getting tired of just doing everything for everybody else. And I wanted to take my stuff serious. So I started posting my actual like weird stuff, my actual creative stuff. I started my YouTube channel to start actually posting short films and things like that, which is this channel that this is on. You can go back and you can go back and you can look at my oldest pieces that I had posted, audio logs and short films. And actually a couple of those short films right now are some of my biggest views. And this year alone, I've gotten over 30, 40,000 on them by the time you see this. So yeah, very developmental year. Very developmental year. The end of that year, I was really going through it. I wasn't making any money in December and January that year. It was
Tough year,
very
tough year. I
slow,
remember
very
that.
downhill. That's one of the things with this work and this industry is sometimes during the holidays, stuff goes downhill. And I mean, I kid you not, it was like over 30 days, 30, 40, maybe 50 days. I had no bookings. No bookings. I couldn't get a job. It was very tough. It was a very tough end of that year, 2022, and sometimes that happens. In comparison to now, it's completely different. But it just really 2022 was just really that year of so much growth, development, changes, and it really put me back against the wall. And it was hard. It was really hard, but I stuck through it. Um, I think I was struggling with even like paying rent for a couple of those months. Very crazy time. And what was that? That was 2022, end of 2022. Yeah, yup. 2023, which was last year. How things going? Things were picking up for sure. Things were picking up for sure. Every single year I've worked harder and harder. 2023 was a fucking grindathon. I was grinding. I was working a lot. I got a lot of brand deals. I was working with so many companies. I probably worked with like 80 different. I partnered with like over 80 different brands last year, which is really going crazy. Just going so crazy. Working a lot, grinding. Posting every single day, sometimes posting multiple times a day, just really locked in, not caring, doing my thing, exposing some people here and there, and just locked in, not really caring. And uh that summer I was working a lot, doing different gigs. I was booked a shit ton, stacked up, moved to LA for the fall. Beautiful time, beautiful, just beautiful, beautiful season, beautiful era. I love LA. I love staying in LA. And every time I leave, I just can't wait to go back. Let's move around a lot, move to different places, go to different states, different cities. It's a very fast paced grind and industry. But last year I was going so crazy, and I knew this year I wanted to go even bigger. And it's currently August 2024 right now that I'm recording this, and wow, so much, so much has changed, and it's so beautiful. So much has changed. And you can go to my Instagram, my model Instagram, Opt by Nature, OPTBY Nature. And if you scroll down, you can see the change. And obviously I've archived probably over 100 posts, maybe even 200, just because I booked that much. And just different seasons. But you can go down, you can scroll down and you can see when I was doing only runway, only commercial work, and then you can see how I started blending it and then compare to full time now, like this full time freelance that I'm in right full time freelance model creator right now, This is like the craziest run that I've ever been on. I've worked with over 100 brands. I've worked with, and not even just
It's
100
crazy saying this back then because now it's even bigger than that. So
brands, like 100 brands from all around. Like I work with brands all around the world. I have full time clientele. I work with a few different brands every single week. Like I even posted, which video was it? If you also one of the videos 11/28/20, I just dropped a vocals only EP a week or two ago, and that was me in 2020. And if you go to 2020 and you go to now, you can see the difference because at that time I was really going through it, and that's why I recorded that video. I was going through it at that time, manifesting, things to get better and stuff like that. Compared to now, it's crazy because what that was like 4 years ago. So a lot of stuff can change. Model journey, man. This journey is so crazy and so unique. I feel like to so many different people, especially the route that I went. My route's very unique. People always see what I post. They see my videos, my content, every like all the time. I see people say, "I thought you would have had a minimum of 10K followers. I thought you would have had fucking 100K followers, bro." I don't. I've never seen 2,000 followers on Instagram. Everybody told me to get on TikTok. I'd blow up. I have 200 followers. I get hundreds of profile views and I get no followers. So it just really says a lot. It's a complete difference than like when I first started because I feel like more people liked me at the beginning because I was only doing things for the industry in comparison to now because I do them because I'm super passionate about it and I'm super consistent. I work really hard and I do it because it pays the bills. So I went from kind of just doing my thing and kind of kissing ass and just kind of doing stuff for the industry standard to kind of getting to the point where I was so consistent. I've grown so much. I've been booked so much.
and just to cut in before anybody does anything funky, just in case there needs to be context of that, that is no Diddy. By kissing ass, I meant in the beginning of my career before I was showing more of my experimental side and I was just doing high fashion, runway, like keeping things very, very specific and niche and just kind of being in one ways because I had to build up my portfolio. So in terms of that, like it's not like anybody physical, but I had to just kiss ass a little bit in the beginning and I had to put myself in a couple of like uncomfortable positions that I wasn't aware of until later on, like one of the biggest shoots, for example, that I did in one of those years that was really good for the portfolio at that time was when I worked with that celebrity photographer in Houston. And then, a year, 2 years later, that photographer ended up, sexualizing me and, you know, trying to fuck me and all that stuff. And it's a dude. So it's like staying, I had to kiss ass a little bit in the beginnings because it's like, all right, I gotta make my page look like this so that this agency fucks with me, or so this brand fucks with me, or that's kind of what I mean. And you kind of have to have a certain image to do certain things, and to like work with certain agencies and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I mean by it, to add like a little context, because you have to kind of, I guess another way you could say is just following the rules. I guess I had to follow the rules to get to the position of power when I can start presenting whatever I want and not really care. If that makes sense.
Where I was like, man, fuck it. I'm just doing me. I'm doing me and I love it. The brands love it. My clients love it. So yeah, I have less people around me. I have less support than I used to have. But hey, I cheated the system. I went from having people all in my comments, saying what, saying all, sending all their fake love in the comments. I went from all the fake love in my comments and hundreds of likes to barely getting any comments now, and only getting a few likes. And it's kind of tough, obviously because I deserve a bigger platform. At the end of the day, I cheated the system because most people have to have tens and thousands and 20K, 50K, 100K to even be monetized. And the fact that I was able to monetize myself full time and I only have 1,000 followers, it really says a lot about my character, my work ethic, my passion, and really my dedication to all of this. So this year has been the craziest year so far, and it's not even the fall. The fall is my prime time. So yeah, I told myself uh, every single year I have to work harder and harder. I've been working so much this year. I've been working so hard this year. I've been booked so much this year. And it is such a relief. I mean, I'm so tired, but it's such a relief. And I can't wait for the fall because the fall season is my craziest season. And that's when I'm traveling. That's when I'm in LA a lot. I just can't wait. I have some crazy, crazy plans. You will see in due time. I don't like to tell people what's going on. I don't like to tell people, especially in the internet and public. You know, keep that to yourself. Lock in, do that stuff on your own. Don't be telling people, man, just do it. Don't be telling people, man, just do it. That's what I've been doing, man. And nobody can take nothing away from you or wish anything down when they don't know. So when you're really doing your thing, you're really locked in, you're really booked and busy, and you got all these plans, keep doing it, man. Keep it to yourself. That's what I do, man. It's peaceful. It's so peaceful. I don't really have any fake ass people bothering me anymore. Any fake ass, uh, you know, creatives just watching my stuff and never showing love, and then speaking condescendingly to me outside of it. I don't have as much as that anymore, man, because I just do my thing and I just stay out the way and I cut all like the fake shit off, man. So 2024, we have so much more to do. I told myself I was gonna take a break this year, and like this summer, I told myself I was gonna chill and then like I would travel and take some time off. That's not what happened. It's August right now. All I've been doing is working, and I haven't had one trip yet. But hey, in the fall, we're ready. So fall is, people they spend their whole year prepping for the spring. I mean, people spend their whole, their year and their spring prepping for the summer. I use my summer to prep for the fall. So how I became a model, that's really a tale of its own. It's something very unique, and I don't even feel like I'm in my prime yet. But it's good that I still have this energy, especially being full time and being this consistent. But I will definitely have to tell this story more in detail later when things change again. But I pretty much just tried to summarize my 4 years in the different eras for now. And I went from, doing model and high fashion strictly to being a full time freelance model and creator. And I haven't been this happy before. I haven't been this at peace before. I haven't been this funded and invested into before. And it's a very great feeling. And it's a very powerful feeling, being in solitary. It's definitely a lot more lonely than things used to be. But hey, less people around me, the less I have to worry about people bullshitting, right? So it feels good. And if you really appreciated this video, you appreciated, some of my model journey and model story, let me know. Um, if there's more you'd like to know or hear about, I'd love to get more into it. I have plenty more of these coming. I just wanted to go ahead and record a couple today, and hope that they inspire some of you to do what you want to do, man. Do what you want to do.
And here's like that iconic part that's been getting a lot of like appreciation lately.
If there's more you'd like to know or hear about, I'd love to get more into it. I have plenty more of these coming. I just wanted to go ahead and record a couple today, and hope that they inspire some of you to do what you want to do, man. Do what you want to do. Stop worrying about the people that don't like you. Stop worrying about the people that speak negatively on you, and believe in yourself. Because the only reason why I was able to create all these opportunities for myself is because I believe in myself. You don't really believe in yourself until you're back against the wall and you have no choice but to believe in yourself.
Facts.
I'll say this too. You know that you're on the right track and that you're doing things right when you're putting all of your passion into it and you feel alone. Don't feel like it's a lonely feeling. You're going to be a little more lonely, but you have to understand it's solitary. It's solitary. Create that peace and that wisdom out of that disassociation, and things are going to be a lot clearer for you. Like I said, I'm not as appreciated as I was. don't get as many likes as I used to, but I'm in a completely different time period and I'm so above everything else around me. And I think that that's the reason why I'm so blessed. So remember that. And you can keep up with this journey. I'll have my social medias in the description and things like that. And yeah, if you made it this far, I appreciate it.
For real though.
I really appreciate it. I don't have too many people to talk to, so you made it this far. Thank you. And to those that are like, how's this guy not blown up yet? I have the same fucking question, but
Facts.
we're gonna get there.
Just gotta keep going.
We're gonna get there.
Shout out to Viva. That would be a dream sponsor right there. Yeah, pretty much. My bad. I know I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm working on a lot of stuff at the same time. If you can't see, I'm all over the place. Night coffee is hitting me like crazy. But yeah, that's a little bit of me getting into this. Pretty much. I don't have to do too much talking. If you want to see this in your perspective, you want to leave a comment on it, you want to show some love, or you want to actually listen to it in a better quality, go check it out here. It's very raw, as you can see. I even had a cough drop in my mouth, which you're not supposed to do at all when you're filming, but it happened and it's raw and it's here. So, like I said, it was just straight off the dome. I really wasn't even ready to record, but you just sometimes you gotta turn the camera on and it just speaks. There we go. So, if you enjoyed this, tune in. I got a part 2 of this coming either later today or tomorrow. I'll see you for the next one for day 6.2.